is not good for our country, nor the people of Cuba, to have an anti-American dictatorship 90 miles from our shores. A nation that harbors terrorists, a nation that harbors fugitives from American justice, a nation that harbors advanced intelligence gathering facilities for China and Russia.
And if elected president, among the first things you would do would undo everything the president had done.
Well, I would reimpose sanctions that could only be lifted through reciprocal steps on behalf of the Cubans. In essence, if they want more telecommunications opening, then the Cuban government will have to allow freedom of the press. If they want more engagement with American business and travel, then they will have to allow more democratic opening for alternative groups in society. The conditions are actually in law right now. The embargo, which is separate from what the president has done, could be lifted tomorrow.
But the president quickly says all the sanctions have been in place for 50 years, and they've achieved none of the objectives that you want to achieve.
I think that's
50 years the sanctions have been in effect.
Well,
why not try something new?
Because that's not true. What he's saying is inaccurate. Number one, the sanctions that he's talking about, if he's talking about the embargo, the purpose of the embargo was not to topple Fidel Castro. That was the purpose of the Bay of Pigs. That didn't work. But the purpose of the embargo was to prevent the trafficking of stolen goods. And let me be clear about something. If you travel to Cuba, you stay at a hotel, you are staying in a stolen property. But let me make another point to you. Okay, there is no Japanese embargo on Cuba. There is no South Korean embargo on Cuba. Why isn't Cuba full of Samsung phones? Why isn't it full of Toyotas? Why does everybody drive a car from 1956?
Why?
Because they're incompetent. Because their leadership is incompetent. Because they view themselves as the leaders of a plantation of 13 million people who they control. There is no Cuban economy. The entire economy is owned by a holding company named Gaesa, which is run by Raul Castro's son-in-law. The hotels, the telecom companies, the rental cars, everything is underneath the umbrella of that holding company. So we don't have an opening to Cuba, we have an opening to Gaesa.
This is in the New York Times, and it's a philosophical question. It says the following, and this may very well be what you were talking about in your speech earlier in this session. It's a mood of overreaching uncertainty and profound anxiety, talking about America today. And it's so ingrained at this point that we tend to overlook it. And he continues, if one of the aspirants can give credible voice to Americans' insecurity and trace a believable path out of it, he or she will almost certainly be victorious in 2016.
Is that Frank Bruni's piece?
That's right.
He's right. That's exactly what's happened. For about a decade now, Americans have been getting bad news. You know, we had the American century. Economically, we had a country like my parents
found. So the question, what is...
Where?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Okay. So my parents came here, right? They had no skills. They were immigrants. And they were able to achieve a middle-class lifestyle. They owned a home. They raised their family. They were able to retire with dignity. They were able to leave their children better off than themselves. And they took enormous pride in all that America achieved around the world and here at home. And now, in the early years of this new century, there's a feeling that none of that is true anymore. Globally, we're no longer appear to be able to shape events like we once did. And domestically, you have millions of people that are working hard. Maybe at the same job they had 25 years ago, but now they're no longer firmly in the middle class. They live paycheck to paycheck. And the question is, why is this happening? Why do the old ways of doing things no longer work? And why can't anybody tell us what the new way of doing things is? And the answer is because the world is undergoing an extraordinary economic and geopolitical transformation. And we need transformative leadership that helps us make that transition.
And what, if we can summarize, I may assume that everything you've said before is the answer to this question. What is your believable path?
Oh, I think the 21st century has the potential to be better than the 20th century. But it will require us to have economic policies that make us globally competitive in a global economy. That's why tax reform and regulatory reform and energy policies and dealing with the debt are so important. The second point is technology has rapidly changed the nature of work. All the better paying jobs of the 21st century require advanced education, but we have an outdated higher education system.
Florida Senator Marco Rubio. Coming up, a conversation with Bloomberg View columnist Mohammed El-Arian. A reminder, you can watch Charlie Rose weeknights at 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. in high definition on Dish Network Channel 203. This is Sunday Brunch with Charlie Rose on Bloomberg Radio.
They say every healthy relationship should have a balance of predictability and spontaneity. In fact, it is that assurance of security that makes the spontaneous possible. Your relationship with your car should be a little like that too. With our industry-leading unlimited mileage warranty, your certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz instills a sense of confidence. You drive away knowing that you can keep driving years and never have to worry about the miles. Add to that our complimentary prepaid maintenance on select models, and your certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz becomes the ultimate carefree escape vehicle. Only during the Mercedes-Benz Certified Pre-Owned Sales event going on now through June 1st can you receive your first 2 months payments on us on select models, plus 3 months of Sirius XM satellite radio. So hurry in today. It might just be the most predictable, spur-of-the-moment decision you've ever made.
See your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for complete details and limitations on certified pre-owned warranties.
The following was recorded at a Burger King drive-thru at breakfast.
Morning, welcome to Burger King.
Let me get a sausage, egg, and cheese sandwich.
Try saying croissant-wich.
Croissant-wich.
Yeah, it's the only way to capture its flaky, buttery lightness, and right now they're just 2 for $4. Now say muffin.
Muffin.
Oh no, that's boring.
Get 2 croissant-wich breakfast sandwiches for just $4, only at Burger King. Limited time only. Price and participation vary.
Geico Motorcycle presents Reflections from the Road.
The day I knew I was a real biker was when I switched to Geico Motorcycle Insurance. Because real bikers, well, they know where the savings are. And you know what else makes you a real biker? A sweet tattoo. Check mine out. Just got it yesterday. It says Heel on Wheels. Wait, Heel on Wheels? Oh, man. Well, at least I got the saving money with Geico part, right?
Geico Motorcycle Insurance. See how much you could save.
More than 100 million wild animals are killed each year illegally. Poaching is a major threat to our country's wildlife. I'm Tom Barry. I'm an actor with a desire to preserve living space for wildlife. The Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust does just that. Works with private landowners to protect wildlife, to preserve natural habitats. To learn more or to work with the Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust, call 800-729-SAVE. That's 800-729-SAVE, or visit wildlifelandtrust.org. Thank you.
If you had a crystal ball to tell you exactly what the stock market would do, your life would be a lot less interesting.
Is it a rosy outlook in the markets? What's your take here on this current environment?
Taking Stock with Michael McKee and Kathleen Hayes.
This is a stock that was up 22% over the last 6 months.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. Everything you love about the markets is here.
Today, they got 2 downgrades.
Taking Stock with Michael McKee and Kathleen Hayes. Bloomberg Radio. There's absolutely no alternative.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him going on to fascinate millions with his talent? 1 in 260,000. The odds of him having 15 career NASCAR victories? 1 in 1.7 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 88. I'm Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Welcome to Bloomberg Law, the first and only real-time research system for the 21st century legal practice. Created by the leading provider of data and information services, a single search feature with access to legal, news, and company databases provides you with powerful legal research results and a holistic view of your clients. Filtered so you know the information you receive will be relevant every time. Customizable legal, financial, and news alerts keep you ahead of your clients and in tune with their world. Log in now to experience Bloomberg Law.
Here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we've got a pep talk that can motivate you.
Sometimes things don't always turn out the way you want them to.
You can improve your future. Now get your game face on and take the first step towards a better life. Hurry up! Don't make me repeat myself. Whatever level of motivation you need, we've got a pep talk for you. Call 1-877-38-YOUR-GED or visit yourged.org for your pep talk and for free classes in your area. GED is a registered trademark of the American Council on Education, brought to you by Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council. Time now for Bloomberg Travel Weather.
Travel weather for today across the eastern part of the country. Looking at some rain showers in Caribou, Maine, 59 degrees. It's actually a cold front that's dropping in from the north. Now in Boston, sunshine 73, maybe some clouds later on. Chance of showers in New York City, along with some sunshine, a high of 85 degrees. Showers and thunderstorms in Washington, D.C. and 84. And Buffalo, partly sunny afternoon thunderstorms, 78. Showers and thunderstorms in Cleveland, and 81. And we're looking at the chance of showers and thunderstorms at Virginia Beach, mostly in the afternoon, a high of 86. Charlotte, North Carolina, partly sunny, and 85. Atlanta, sunshine starts off the day. Late day thunderstorms could be an issue, though, a high of 85. Chance of showers and thunderstorms in Panama City Beach with a high of 89. Showers and thunderstorms in Tampa, 87. And we got thunderstorms in Miami with a high temperature today of 84. We'll check travel conditions in the central U.S. in our next report. I'm Bloomberg meteorologist Rob St. Pierre. Now let's check Bloomberg Sports.
The Yankees with a 3-run fifth go on to beat the Royals 5-1. CeCe Sabathia gets up 1 run through 7. A-Rod and Chase Headley homer. The Mets wallop Milwaukee 14-1. Wilma Flores batting ninth as a grand slam. Jacob deGrom with 3 hits. The Red Sox over the Mariners 4-2. Nationals, Giants, and Rockies win. Game 1, Rangers edge the Lightning 2-1. American Pharoah wins the Preakness. And after an 11 under 61, Rory McIlroy has a 4-shot lead heading into today's final round at the Wells Fargo Championship. That's the Bloomberg Sports Update. I'm Joel Stern.
Sunday Brunch with Charlie Rose on Bloomberg Radio continues. And once again, here's Charlie Rose.
Mohamed El-Arian is here. He is the Chief Economic Advisor at Allianz. He's also a columnist for Bloomberg View and a contributing editor to the Financial Times. He was previously CEO at PEMCO, the global investment firm with over $1.5 trillion under management. I am pleased to have him here back at this table. Welcome.
Thank you.
There's much to talk about. Let me begin with this. This is a Wall Street Journal. Fed Chief Janet Yellen warns of bloated stock. Federal Reserve Chairwoman Janet Yellen weighed in on a growing debate among investors and market economists, suggesting the year-long stock rally may have driven prices too high and raising concerns that debt market investors are taking excessive risk. She said that in a conversation with the head of the IMF.
She did, and it had quite an impact on the markets. And I think she's right. There's been too much risk-taking.
Yeah.
Ironically, it's been encouraged by the Fed, not because they enjoy risk-taking, but it's the only way they can promote economic growth. So what you see here is a dilemma that the Fed has. On the one hand, it wants to promote economic growth. On the other hand, it's using an instrument that is promoting too much risk-taking. And somehow they've got to strike the balance.
And what's the balance?
I think the balance is only struck if other policy-making entities step up to their responsibility. The Fed is the only game in town right now, and it doesn't have the instruments to deal with what ails Western economies. And I say Western because the ECB in Europe is in exactly the same position. So they need help. They need help from other policymakers, but other policymakers are sidelined right now.
So let's talk about some of the issues. So what about Greece in the Eurozone?
I put it 45-45-10 a few weeks ago, and I'll now call it 50-45-5. So the 5% is the solution, the holistic solution where Greece and its European partners sit together in the context of trust, and both are willing to commit to what needs to be done, and both sides have to give. I give that to Charlie a 5% probability.
Germany will give.
Germany gives on debt reduction.
Right.
Germany gives on more financial support. Greece agrees to meaningful structural reforms, and together they agreed to some reduction in austerity. The solution is technically there.
It hasn't changed since this crisis developed, has it?
It hasn't, but there's no trust. They can't even agree on the past and the present, let alone agree on the future. The 50%, the 45% probability was just muddle along a little bit longer. But the 50% probability is that we get an accident and that Greece ends up out of the Eurozone, not because someone made a historic decision. In fact, no one wants to go down in the history books as having made that decision. It's rather that the accident happens on the ground and Greece has no choice but to exit the Eurozone. I think that is a 50% probability right now.
And when would that happen?
So it's happening day in and day out, the little things that are going on. There's a bank jog going on. People are withdrawing money from the banks and putting them in their mattress or taking them out of the country, which means that you're sucking oxygen out of the system. Secondly, the government is running out of
spending it, they're taking it out of the country.
They're taking it out of the country. Secondly, the government is running out of money. So it's just a matter of time before it issues an IOU. An IOU is an alternative currency. The minute they take that step, then they start a certain dynamic that we saw in Argentina in 2001. Thirdly, we're very close to capital controls in Greece. So you could see this accident starts evolving, and ultimately the politicians will lose control of the situation.
So take me back to the U.S. though. All of a sudden we thought that we were on our way to a recovery. And now people are beginning to say, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I don't buy that. I think we are.
You think nothing's changed really in the fundamentals?
We will do slightly better than last year. By that I mean we'll grow at 2.5%, maybe a little bit higher. The first quarter we were impacted by the weather. We were impacted by the closure of the ports out west. And the first quarter is typically weak. So I don't buy into we are looking at a year that's worse than last year. It's going to be slightly better, but it's not going to be escape velocity.
Slightly better is 3?
No, slightly better is 2.5 to 3.
Yeah. When do we get to 3? I mean, that would be a kind of...
It's going to take us a while because Washington is not helping. So we are...
Because of gridlock?
Yeah. There's no active decision-making in Washington on economics other than the Federal Reserve. And the Federal Reserve doesn't have the instruments to get us there.
And what would be a fiscal fix?
So fiscal fix is to match first and foremost, to match the wallet with the will to spend.
Yeah.
The second fiscal fix is to provide...
The wallet is generating revenue by tax, I assume?
Right now what's happening, because inequality has gotten so high in this country, that the people who are capturing the incremental income are the rich. The rich spend less of their income. The poor, who have a massive desire to spend, don't have the wallet to spend. Fiscal policy normally fixes this. The second issue...
So if we put more money in the hands of the poor,
well,
we would create growth?
You would create growth, right? And you could do it either through the minimum wage.
That's what stimulus is about, isn't it?
That is exactly what stimulus is about. The second element is give clarity on corporate tax reform. People know that there's some sort of corporate tax reform coming, but they don't know what it's going to look like. And if you're a company, that is material. So that's why economic risk-taking is so much lower than financial risk-taking, because companies don't see the clarity and cannot reposition as quickly as financial investors can. So the second way that fiscal can help is by giving clarity on fiscal reforms, which is absolutely key right now.
Fiscal reforms having to do with?
Mainly the tax system.
Okay.
So we have a tax system that's littered with exemptions,
right,
that's anti-growth, and that most people agree, the vast majority of both Republicans and Democrats agree that it needs to be reformed, but no one wants to come together and collaborate with the other side ahead of the elections in 2016.
Okay, I want you to balance politics with economics here. Here's a candidate who wants to run, let's just say he's running for the Republican nomination, which presents certain kind of political things. What's the ideal policy that you would like to see a political candidate run on? What would you like to see him or her recommend to the country as the best way to find sustainability and growth?
That person would need to have one objective in mind, and that is the handoff from artificial growth to genuine growth. So the question is, how do we pivot from a legacy where we mistakenly fell in love with finance as the engine of growth? We collectively fell in love with finance. We believed that somehow finance can deliver economic growth. We believed that we were entitled to debt that we couldn't afford. We were entitled to buy homes that we couldn't afford because they were going to go higher. Wall Street became entitled on a standalone basis to exchange bits of paper rather than be what it should be, the financial service industry serving the mid-economy. So we need
providing the capital for businesses to grow.
Correct. So we need to pivot to a new growth model, and that will only happen if there's what I call the Sputnik moments. If people realize, just like it happened in the late 50s when the Soviet Union, the evil empire, sent up Sputnik, and suddenly everybody thought it's a national priority to catch up. We need an economic Sputnik.
A man on the moon project.
A man on the moon project where economic growth is put right in the middle, and then you pursue all the elements.
But what are the elements of that?
So,
first of all, purpose and will and plan.
Right. Secondly, investing in engines of growth. Infrastructure investment. We have horrible infrastructure. Interest rates are really low. It makes sense to step up infrastructure investment.
Why wasn't that part of the stimulus plan in the first place?
It was, but the big mistake we made in 2009 is that we thought this was a cyclical downturn. When we came up, I'll give you an example. When my PIMCO colleague and I came up with the concept of the new normal at the time, we were signaling that this recovery was going to be really hard, that structurally there was something wrong. Like you drop your phone, you turn it back on, it's not going to come back on. We were called first idiotic and then fatalistic. Today, the term has acquired elegance because it's called secular stagnation.
Yes, that's what Mr.
The problem is that
Summers talks about.
Yeah, I don't believe you can run the American economy for another 5 years at this low speed. Something is going to break. Either we're going to tip into a much better world, or we're going to find that we get even lower growth, and then we get what Janet Yellen and others are worried about, financial instability.
And the likelihood of that?
It's the T-junction. The current road ends. There are two paths out. Both are equally probable. And the good news is that we actually have the ability to shift the probabilities in favor of a good outcome. But it requires not the engineering solution. It requires a political will to do this.
So in other words, we can't fix our economy until we fix our politics.
Correct. That's a very good way of putting it. And that's why people get a little bit worried.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's almost like the president's given up on Congress.
Yeah, I think that whatever he introduces, right, no matter, immigration reform, we haven't had an active budget for 5 years. Right. That's the most basic element of economic governance.
Some say realistic budget.
Well, just active, as opposed to just doing more of what we've been doing.
Thank you to Charlie Rose and his guest, Mohamed El-Arian. A reminder, you can watch Charlie Rose on Bloomberg Television weeknights at 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. in high definition on Verizon Fios Channel 604. We're glad you're spending your Sunday morning at our brunch with Charlie Rose on Bloomberg Radio.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. You just did your taxes. Do you remember how much you gave to charity? Bill Gross does.
Well, I think to this point probably 600 to 700 million.
The 71-year-old Gross amassed his wealth as co-founder of Pacific Investment Management Company in 2013 when PIMCO's assets approached $2 trillion.
Golf. Palm Beach County Golf. Affordable, challenging, and memorable golf await you at Park Ridge, Okehele, South Winds, and Osprey Point Golf Course. Join them on Monday, May 18th for Green Golfer Day, when you can play on any of their courses for only $18.87 plus tax, while supporting environmental stewardship at their certified Audubon cooperative sanctuaries. To learn more about their initiatives and other weekly events, visit pbcgolf.com.
Flo from Progressive here, on the road with Gail. Tell us about yourself, Gail.
I'm the proud owner and operator of Paws for Style mobile dog grooming.
Clever. Did you know that with Progressive Commercial Auto Insurance, you can save money with discounts like Safe Driver, Business Experience, and Paid in Full?
Sure do.
Well, did you know that I am fluent in dog?
No.
That means, I wish my tail was made of bacon!
Discounts to help your business save. Visit Progressive.com to learn more. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
News, traffic, weather. Every 10 minutes from 6 a.m. until 3 p.m. 1230 WBCT.
West Palm Beach.
Weather every 10 minutes on 1230 WBCT.
2 minutes.
Report is streamed live on our iHeartRadio app. Download it now.
It'll be mostly sunny for us this afternoon, and a few downpours are expected. Your highs today will be near 86. Drier air works in for the start of next week, which will limit how much rain we see on Monday and Tuesday. Big storms and hot temperatures return starting on Wednesday, lasting all the way through Friday. I'm Storm Team 5 meteorologist Tyler Malden for 1230 WBZT.
This report is brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life.
She didn't just visit the sick and poor. She moved in with them because they needed help. Mother Teresa couldn't do it all, but she gave her all. Compassion. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
Local news every 10 minutes from 6 a.m. until 3 p.m. on 1230 WBCT. The thoughts and opinions expressed are are those of the sponsor and don't necessarily reflect those of the station or...
Hi. Here to tell you about Dr. Anthony Pannozzo. He's a pain specialist located in southern Palm Beach County. So if you are somebody that you know is suffering in pain, Dr. Pannozzo is the one you guys need to call. And make that call today, because living in pain is no way to go through life. Dr. Pannozzo has been in practice now for more than 49 years. He's treated more than 73,000 patients for pain. He's an expert when it comes to diagnosing the pain, and he has had huge turnarounds. In fact, people living with scoliosis, he has had nearly a 100% turnaround. Lumbar pain as well. If you've got lower back pain, if you're suffering with migraines or flat feet pain, maybe pain in your elbows, your neck, your shoulders, Dr. Pannozzo can help you. And the greatest thing is he can help you without drugs, without surgery, and without having to go through weeks and months of rehabilitation. Give him a call today. Set up an appointment. It's 561-381-5800. Tune into his show Sundays, 11 to noon.
And now, here's this week's edition of the Dr. Pannozzo Sports and Medicine Hour.
Well, good morning, Dr. Pannozzo.
Good morning, good morning.
Haven't seen you in a week. I was away. Good morning, Freddy of AM2.TV, our director-producer, and we've got our producer standing right there to take all your calls. The lovely Colleen. Hi, Colleen. Oh, she doesn't want to talk to me today. She's mad at me. And hi, Linda. How are you today?
Hi, Les.
It's like I haven't been around. I've seen you, and
Who are
I missed you guys.
Who is this guy?
I just walked in.
Les.
Dr. Pannozzo, did you know that South Florida has more car accidents and fender benders than any place in the country?
No, I didn't know that.
So let me ask you, so someone is in a car accident and they have a whiplash or they have back pains, they should come to you because you could fix all that.
Yes.
So what do we do with the insurance companies or those PIP attorneys? That's what they're called, Freddy, PIP attorneys?
Well, it's not a PIP attorney, but PIP is part of the procedure.
Okay.
They're called personal injury.
Personal injury attorney. So what do you do to counteract that? You could actually help these people and save the insurance companies a lot of money and get these people back to work.
Well, you treat the person the best way you can.
Right.
The fastest way.
Okay.
And that eliminates a lot. That eliminates every PIP. $10,000 that's paid out.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, and what are they doing for it? If you talk to someone who's been through that process, I mean, none of what's done to these people is sanctioned treatment. Mm-hmm. I mean, real treatment. And so they're just wiping out this $10,000 as quick as they can.
So in other words, if someone comes in with a whiplash, I mean, what actually is a whiplash? I mean, to this day, I don't know what it is.
That's not a good term.
Okay.
It's a cervical strain. Is what it
okay.
is, or a sprain.
And that can be fixed in 10 minutes?
Yeah. Less time than that.
Really?
Yeah.
So what does that person do for the rest of the day? They came in and said to their wife, "I'll be gone for 3 hours." Now you fix them in 10 minutes. What do you do now?
Well, the attorneys and chiropractors have this thing going where they use up the PIP money. I don't know how they do it. I don't get it myself.
Or they schedule a chiropractor for 10 visits, 20 visits.
Yeah.
You keep coming in and out.
Yeah, that must be it.
Linda went through that when she had the car accident.
Oh, Linda, you should tell the people about that.
How'd that work for you?
She went in and she got treatment over and over. And the problem was that she was at a job that did not allow you to leave, to go to work. So Linda eventually lost her job. But she needed it because she had stiff neck and it never did anything. I used the machine more than her. I played with the machine, that little...
What machine?
The electric impulse machine, whatever it's called.
TENS unit.
That thing.
That should never be used. Do you realize I've been working 52 years?
Oh, and you don't look a day over 70?
I've never prescribed or used the TENS machine.
What is it?
In all that time.
I don't even know what it is.
It just puts a buzz in your arm so that you don't feel it. You don't feel the pain temporarily. So doesn't do anything to cure anything.
It has like these 4 electrodes, and your foot or your leg or your neck goes between them. And then you pull the impulse, and the higher you make it, you begin to feel a buzz.
Yeah, you feel the buzz, and you don't feel the pain temporarily. But see, it does nothing for the pain. As soon as you turn it off, the pain's right there.
You know, it's a good thing I take a lot of notes when you guys talk. A very well-known physician said that electrical stimulation does absolutely nothing.
No, and I'm the well-known physician. I'm telling you,
And I'm telling you,
someone
as well-known as you said it.
Somebody else agrees with me. That's unusual.
Well, it's amazing that you said that. When smart people go to research,
who is the name on that?
I'll give it to you. Let me give it to you 1 second. You can look him up too, Doc. And hold on, let me give you. His name is. Freddy, talk to the doc while I look up this name.
Well, I got a question.
That's good, okay.
Electric stimulation is using other gadgets to stimulate.
Hold on, I found it, Freddy. Hold on. It's Dr. E.D. Let me tell you where to go to. EDZARERNST.com. And he is a very well-known physician. He's got more degrees than I have pimples on my back, and that's not true. I don't have pimples on my back, but I didn't know what else to say.
That's kind of gross.
And
gross is gross.
He's got 15 things that people should watch out for, and he said one of them is electrical stimulation. He said it does not work. You might feel like funny.
The machine that does it costs $5,000.
Wow.
I mean, you can't believe this stuff. And what does it do? Absolutely nothing.
No.
Well, do you know they give you the machine and then they give you like a year worth of those stimulant little gooey things. So I kept playing with it. But Doc,
That's a TENS unit.
Yes. But do you know that stimulation is used to increase the blood flow, right?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I guess
that's what they do it for. I mean, trust me. I put it on my toes and my fingers, and all of a sudden everything begins to tingle. Isn't that the blood flow increasing? No.
That's a electrical problem on the nerve.
Mm-hmm.
So it's playing with your electricity.
Just overpowers the nerve. It produces an output that the body perceives as a buzz.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't do any good. Yeah.
So you got this accident, you get that machine, you get the physical therapy. They use up the 10 grand because that's what they use it for.
Right.
And at the end of that, and we're not going to talk about the rest of it, but at the end of that, you're still injured. Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed.
And you're in pain.
And so they kick you out.
And you're done.
You're done.
And your visits are done. You've gone over the insurance.
So now
part of
you
it.
still go to your attorney, though, and you still have a problem. So now you're on your own to go and get treated. They'll send you to a surgeon now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the surgeon wants to operate, which is worth about $80,000 to your claim.
Right.
So and go get operated. When people come to my office and they say that, I said, don't get operated. You don't need it. Do this instead. And so we treat these things. But what I'm telling you is a personal experience because we actually treat these things.
Right.
And I'm not making this up.
No.
But you bring up a good point. Because 90% of the time, the other person doesn't have the insurance to cover the operation.
Right.
So where do you get the money, Doc? Where do you get the $130,000?
Well, they get it done, then they have a lawsuit, which takes 3 years to do, and then you get paid.
But you have to pay it up front. They're not going to say, okay, wait for payment in 3 years.
Not all the time, because the attorney will guarantee settlement. They'll guarantee the money.
Well,
there's a form that you can fill out.
I want to meet that attorney because, Linda, we had to go to our insurance company, sue our insurance company for $26,000 non-motorists, and they raised our rates. So,
if anyone wants to talk to us today, I'm sorry, I forgot the number again. It's 1-800
889 02 67
1-800-889-0267.
You know what? We should rehearse this show because
because what happens
sounds like an unrehearsed show.
Well, it is an unrehearsed show because we do everything live. I just want everyone to know everything we do is live. Feel free to call us up and ask us any question. We don't have Colleen screening.
You know what? We should have Colleen say the number. So if you want to call
Colleen,
in,
say the number.
What's the number, Colleen? Now look at that. She has laryngitis today.
I think she's nervous about talking on the phone. Is that true, Colleen?
Let's talk about.
I don't know the number.
Let's talk.
You don't know the number.
Thoracic outlet.
Oh, you want to talk about that? The thing we spoke about?
Thoracic outlet.
What is thoracic outlet syndrome? That's the first time I heard of it.
All right. Are you on TV? This is.
I have you.
Yes, you're on TV.
Outlet right here.
Okay.
The base of the neck. And you can get a nerve problem from that, and it'll affect your little finger. And so what that is actually a curvature of your neck. Now, people who operate this, believe me, don't understand it because it is a curvature of the neck which puts a pull on the other side and a compression on the curved side. Okay, so all these structures can be affected that way. But the real problem is between the shoulder blades, because if you have a curvature there, curvature up, your neck has to curve also. Boom, just like that. And here is part of it. This is the muscle.
Hold it up, Doc.
Hold up, Doc. Hold up so we can take a picture of that. Okay.
The nerve is right there, and the blood vessels are right there. So you can have symptoms in all this area, but it's how you have to go about evaluating and treating this. There be no surgery for this whatsoever.
Really?
So wait a minute. So you get the pain
I
where,
recommend
Doc?
surgery. I have nothing against it if it's required. If we have a better way to do it, that's what we're here for. Tell you there's a better way to do it.
Where is the pain?
The pain will be in the arm down to the little finger, and they'll do some tests for blood vessel. None of it is necessary.
Both fingers?
It could be both, yeah.
Wow, can you imagine?
One will be compression, one will be stretch. That's what a pinched nerve is. It's a compression or a stretch. It's not a herniated disc like people tell you, because that's only ligament there. It's a sprained ligament.
So when they say you got a pinched nerve, what you're talking about is exactly what's going on.
Right. But you have to have proof of that. They throw that term around like it means something. It doesn't mean anything.
So a pinched nerve really isn't a pinched nerve.
Yeah, and especially chiropractic. Don't be manipulated for a pinched nerve. Believe me, you don't want to do that.
Now, Doc, where do you treat this particular illness? In the neck, in the shoulder?
This one, you have to treat between the shoulder blades. You got to straighten that out first, and then you can do the neck.
Wow.
And you know, it's funny, the same doctor said something that Dr. Pannozzo has been saying for a long time. If you can't be treated within 3 visits, go find another doctor. So
you should have a substantial improvement in 3 visits, yeah.
Of course, they're saying that if you go, so when these people go for this therapy, and they're going for like 12 visits, and they're still not seeing improvement, that means something is definitely wrong.
Something wrong, but when I talk to people, I show them everything. We show them where that pain is. Then we take a film. We show them why it's there and what we have to do to fix it. And you see it right there with the model, with the x-ray. And you know a lot, I mean a lot, about your particular problem. Then you make a decision. And usually it's, do whatever you need to do. And we do.
And what's that called, that particular?
This is called a thoracic outlet syndrome.
Oh, first time I heard that one.
I never heard of that either.
Yeah, this is a thoracic outlet.
Right.
Here,
wow.
The base of the neck.
Wow. That's amazing.
But there are reasons for these things to happen, and unless you have a proper evaluation, and for this kind of thing, you should have an electromyographic examination. You need a special film that shows the curvatures, and you have to know it's the curvatures that are doing it. So, and those are removable. Remember, the scoliosis treatment we have is virtually 100% effective. I mean, those who do not want to believe that, I feel sorry for you, because you should try it before you say that.
Well, all I could say is I've seen it, and so is Freddy. You know, we're not just saying that we saw it just because we're doing a show.
You mean you're not getting paid to lie or anything like that?
No, but there's nothing to lie about it. I mean, I've seen it. You know, the beauty of what we do, I said Freddy and I and Dr. Pannozzo, I mean, you know, if it wasn't for Freddy and AMP2.TV doing the work he does to show a person that came in that was almost bent down, where she couldn't even pick herself up, and now watch her being cured. And the beauty of it is we have the x-ray showing from start A to start Z, where this woman is almost perfectly straight. I mean, my gosh. And we've seen it with children, and it makes your heart feel good that there's someone that could actually do what they say can't be done. And that's even the most amazing thing. So I think what people are having a problem with is believing that everyone says you can't do it, you got to put rods in your back, that you could do.
Yeah, well, that's wrong. It's wrong thinking.
I know.
The thinking is, here's what's wrong with it. It says we want to prevent a further curvature, so we'll put the rods in.
Right.
That is not what you want to hear. You want to hear how we reduce the curvature. So rods are not necessary. That's what you want to hear. Mm-hmm. And we do tell you that.
So when someone comes in, I mean, I'm asking you these questions only because I want the public to, who would probably ask these questions, because I've seen it. So I don't want to lie to anybody and say I've actually seen it. So just for the audience, someone comes in with scoliosis, walk the audience through what you do with that. I think that's a better way to do it.
Well, we evaluate first of all, they're in there usually because of a pain. So, okay, we take care of that, show them where the pain is. Then we do a special film and use that film to show why that thing is there. The curvature is there and where the pain's from and what we can do for it. And I really mean it. You learn a lot right then and there about your disease, which is not available elsewhere.
No,
it isn't, because people don't believe that scoliosis or any back pain is from trauma, from a fall, from lifting, or something like that.
So you're not born with scoliosis?
You're not born with it, actually not, and it's not hereditary, cannot be. It's not genetic, cannot be. You don't have a gene for curvature of the spine. You can have it for blue eyes, but not for curvature of the spine. That's absolutely impossible. And so then we show you that, and then we show you the improvement right after the treatment. And so you get not only evaluated, you get treated, and you get an improvement, all within probably 45 minutes. It's not bad. I would say that's pretty good when you've had a scoliosis for 30 years.
Now, they may have to come back for a number of visits because
Well,
it's a
you
big
can't
area.
do every place at one time. You can't do it. First of all, you don't know where they are. Secondly, you don't want to use that amount of medication on anybody. So it can be done, and it's done very carefully. Back pain's the same way. You get trauma, and your bone actually turns. And so you're bearing weight on an abnormal ligament, on an abnormal place, which is the ligament. And it's the annulus. That's where all this pain's coming from.
The annulus.
And so once you turn that bone, then the pain disappears because the annulus is not stressed anymore. It's a physical stress. So that's the way this works. And I'm not going to tell you how I turn those bones, but I absolutely do.
So with all these people, I mean, the lady that we're talking, just so everyone knows, it's not just one person that did this with scoliosis. It wasn't one of these freak things.
No.
There's quite a lot of them, and you could go to Pannozzo.tv, and you could look of what Freddy and AM2 did to show you what has happened with these people. There is more than one person. So let me ask you, this has got to be the dumbest question I'm ever going to ask. I know what you're going to say, Freddy. Don't say it. Okay.
How does he know this stuff? Go ahead.
Why do all the doctors, some of the biggest hospitals in the world, say that scoliosis can't be cured? I guess people are saying the same thing I'm doing.
It's the orthopedic surgeons who put their whole life in it.
Right.
And they haven't done any research. They can't refute what I say.
Right.
I would wish somebody would try it.
Right.
They can't. It's the truth. And remember, the hospitals have a big investment in operating rooms. And these surgeons, they spend a lot of time doing this, and very safely, by the way. I mean, nothing wrong with the surgeons themselves. But this procedure they do for this kind of thing takes all day, and it's a huge amount of money that costs $100,000 probably to take care of that. And what do you have? It's just as bad as before. I wouldn't do it to my own child, and I wouldn't do it for myself, and I don't want it done for anybody because I don't think it's the right thing to do.
How'd you come up with this?
It's just research. I deal with back pain every day, and we see how it works. And we have a fluoroscope, which is an X-ray, and we actually see what we're doing on it. So that's how we did it. It's just basic research and a lot of thought, just thinking, how does this work? How does this work? First thing you have to decide is it's a trauma.
Right.
So what's holding it curved like that? It's got to be scar tissue, right? Okay. Third thing is, where is it? And fourth thing is, how do you get to it with a shot? So we answered all those questions, and the return is magnificent. You see these things actually turning right in front of your eyes.
I wish everyone who is out there who knows somebody or has somebody in their family.
There's a technical problem with all this. How do you rotate those bones? Well, first of all, you have to bring the scar tissue in place where you could get to it, because I only have it's just several degrees of to work with.
Right.
And so you have to bring that scar tissue where you can get to it, all of it. So you can get part of it, and you get return, and then you go get it again, and it turns again. So Sometimes we do it 3 times, but these are exceptionally large people.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a 6'4" guy now.
Oh, I haven't seen
his
that
bone
one.
is huge. I mean,
Wow.
it's like that.
He has scoliosis?
He had back pain, and he had a curvature too. So we had to reduce the curvature and reduce the source of the back pain, but we had to get to it. So we had to slowly turn that bone until we get to it. Now, I think we got it finally the 3rd time. He's doing fantastic.
And it'll never come back again. They'll never have scoliosis
It will never
again.
come back. No.
Unless they fall and cause it to come back.
Well, you have to have a real
fall.
bad fall off a cliff or something. But no, it won't usually come back. Now, how do we know that?
I'm glad you asked that.
See,
That's what we were going to ask.
I was going to ask you, hold it.
We're gonna ask
Get a
you
bell
that.
for that one, Freddie.
Because we treat a lot of people with back or neck pain, right?
Right.
Okay. Especially neck pain. Now, on a rear end collision, you're going to get neck pain, not necessarily back pain.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if so we treated somebody for neck pain, and we marked down wherever we treat, and that's good. They have an auto accident, and they come back to see me, and it's other areas, not the ones we treated, because remember, they're all marked down in detail.
Okay.
So now you're dealing with places that were not injected. Okay, so what's the conclusion there? It's perfectly logical to say that once the areas are treated the way we do it, they don't get hurt again, usually. That's the method. That's what it is.
So in other words, if somebody comes in and they have something done with them on their arm, and you fix it, and they say, "Doc, you didn't fix me because it's my elbow is killing me." But you didn't treat the elbow. You treated a part that they came in. So if they come in with the pain, you get rid of the pain that they came in with.
Yeah, we're treating about a neck or we're treating a low back. These are structures there that are treatable. And when you have an auto accident, you get other ones infected, not the ones we treated.
Right.
So now you have the other ones to treat. And it's most remarkable. And you say, how is this possible? Well, we give the structures in there range of motion without pain. And so they can handle another trauma like that.
Right.
So the areas that were not treated are the ones that show an injury.
Which is amazing. I mean, it really is. Folks, I'm going to give you 2 numbers. If you want to talk to the doctor, he's here. Woke up early this morning to be here. Colleen's falling asleep in the booth, but we got... Colleen, how you doing? Okay, Colleen's doing okay. 800-889-0267. That will come right to us, and we'll be more than happy to answer any question. If you have something where you don't believe could be done, please call us.
The calls are not screened.
We don't screen anything.
Just call it.
We don't care.
Anything.
You don't want to give your name. You don't even have to give your name. Colleen will pick it up, and you can just write Jim.
How about the questions?
Okay, well, before we go to the questions, I want to give another number, then I have to take a break. You can call Dr. Pannozzo directly on his phone that he answers after 12:30 at 561-381-5800. That's 561-381-5800. We're going to be back in a couple of, about a minute and a half. We'll see and we'll answer all your questions. Thank you for listening.
Hi, it's Leah, here to tell you about Dr. Anthony Pannozzo. He's a pain specialist located in southern Palm Beach County, so if you or somebody that you know is suffering in pain, Dr. Pannozzo is the one you guys need to call. And make that call today, because living in pain is no way to go through life. Dr. Pannozzo has been in practice now for more than 49 years. He's treated more than 73,000 patients for pain. He's an expert when it comes to diagnosing the pain, and he has had huge turnarounds. In fact, people living with scoliosis, he has had nearly a 100% turnaround. Lumbar pain as well. If you've got lower back pain, if you're suffering with migraines or flat feet pain, maybe pain in your elbows, your neck, your shoulders, Dr. Pannozzo can help you. And the greatest thing is he can help you without drugs, without surgery, and without having to go through weeks and months.
Dr. Pannozzo, if you want to lift your mic up just a little bit.
1-5800. Tune into his show Sundays, 11 to noon.
You're listening to Dr. Pannozzo's Sports and Medicine Hour with Dr. Anthony Pannozzo. If you have constant pain and want to talk about how to get rid of it without surgery or medication, or simply want a second opinion, call Dr. Pannozzo now at 1-800-889-0267 to get your pain issues resolved. Now, more of Dr. Pannozzo's Sports and Medicine Hour.
We be back. Okay, Doc, let me give you some questions that people keep writing in. I wish a lot of you that write in. Thank you for writing in, but you could call us up. We could answer it even better.
Yeah.
Sarah writes from Facebook, do you plan on having seminars for the public to come out and see what you do? I listen every week, and I am amazed at the video on your website. But I want to meet some of the people that have used you really to get a good thing and let me know if it's true. Well, they can sit in your office and talk to all the people they want.
Come in and sit in my office and listen.
16, Sarah, 16244 Military Trail, office 704, am I right?
740.
740. I have dyslexia, what can I tell you? So anyway, if you don't believe what we're saying, you want to just come in the office and just sit and talk to people. Everyone's very happy to talk about their success.
Right.
Another one we have, which I like, here's this one. Rogers from Survey Monkey writes, I'm hesitant to put a needle at the base of my skull to remove the pain in my back of my head. Is there any other way of resolving migraines? You don't put a needle in the head.
That is the best way, and it's completely safe. Remember, we did dissections of the area at the medical school with the chief of the anatomy department there. I mean, we both worked on it. We spent about an hour and a half doing that. So we know it's completely safe and nothing wrong with it. My son does it with the fluoroscope, and so yeah, it's.
Hey, Les didn't want a shot either, Doc.
Huh?
Les didn't want a shot either. When he couldn't walk, then he got the shot.
Yeah, if you really want to get rid, if you have migraines and it's a substantial problem, then do that, and it'll go. And I guarantee it'll go. But and it's completely safe. Otherwise, remember, migraine comes from a particular location only, but you could have other places in your neck that cause headache also.
Well, I've seen and people that have come into you. The story that I like, I happened to be sitting there one day waiting for something, and this mother was there with her son. I think it was like 28 years old, and I tell this story to people who have migraines. This kid was on every medication. He actually walked in with a migraine, and she heard it, came in, and I think you gave him, if I'm not mistaken, 2 shots, one shot, and he was fine. Came back the next time.
2 minutes. It took 2 minutes, and that pain left, and it hasn't been back.
And then you discovered he had a problem with TMJ, and you cured that also.
Fixed that too.
So I mean, if you don't believe me, I guess I put the same challenge out to everyone.
You know, it's really funny if you sit in my office, which I think you could. I mean,
and Sarah can come in anytime she wants.
People that come out of the treatment room are so happy, and they tell everybody.
Yeah.
Now my pain's gone, and they run. I mean, it's really, it's true. It's. Really
I was there with that golfer who had played golf in I don't know how many years, and he seems to like, and he listens to Leah. He's got the Love Doctors on his phone, and he heard it, and he said, "I got to come in." He came in. You getting a call already?
No.
Okay.
I have.
Well, talk to me about the golf instructor. Yeah, they came in to see you. Right.
Charles Owens.
Right.
I'll give him a plug.
Why not?
He's a teacher, but he found out he couldn't teach because he had a pain. So we evaluated him, fixed the pain. There's a guy who has a pretty large business, and he couldn't work. Take the opposite view. You're trying to get lessons in how to play golf, and you can't swing.
You can't do a full swing to show him, sure.
So we can fix that so that we get Owens and the client together so they can learn how to play golf. You know?
So he's the instructor.
He's the instructor.
And he couldn't teach because he was in pain.
Well, he couldn't get, he couldn't do that full range of motion to show him how the swing is supposed to be, which is kind of rough if you're a golf instructor.
That's tough.
Yeah.
But he's out there. He's a swing trainer, so he can teach you how to play golf.
Well, that's what we've been telling all these instructors is let Dr. Pannozzo fix your client, and they give him right back to you so they can then train.
You see, these people want to learn how to play golf, but they can't. If they have a problem swinging, they're not going to learn how to play golf. They're going to leave you quick.
They're going to quit the game.
That's exactly, Freddie. That's exactly what happens.
Right.
That's exactly what happens.
So if you have a client who's interested in learning how to play, and you're an instructor, the best thing you could do for that person is to get that pain out of the way. You don't know how to do it, but I do. So, set him over, we fix him, and then he learns how to play golf.
Yeah, I mean, it behooves a golf instructor to tell people that, you know what, if I can't get that full range of motion, well, if you look at Tiger Woods doesn't swing the way he used to swing.
Nope, and all they did was change his swing, which is really crazy. When you think about it, don't you want to have a normal swing? You don't want to change your swing. You want to have it become normal.
Well, his swing was always championship. Why would you even mess with that?
Because the pain. And it's funny. One of the things I was reading, and it mentioned about ACL tears, and it said that what is an ACL tear?
I don't know. It doesn't exist as far as I'm concerned.
And they said that Drew Brees, Tom Brady, and Tiger Woods had these injuries, and they said that there's only now I read 3 different opinions. One opinion said hot and cold, we'll fix it. Okay, the other one said drugs, we'll fix it. And what was the third one? See who can guess the third one. Surgery went for Freddy. Yes, you have always said that none of those 3 work. Well, and he has 3 different doctors, and they have 3 different opinions.
Well, hot and cold can't get to it because the hot and cold affects the skin only, and that ACL is in the middle of the knee. Say you're an athlete, you got a knee this big. You know what you have to do to get to the middle of that? I mean, just think. How would you get to the middle of that?
I call you.
Only. How would you only? There's structures around it that protect the knee. So in order to get something that's in the middle of a knee this size, I mean, mine's 16 inches, and you could, and I'm a medium guy. You talk about
football player.
Somebody 6'4", an athlete, they're going to have a knee like this. How do you get to the inside of that to hurt that ACL? I don't think you can.
I don't think it doesn't sound.
You destroy everything else around it first, and that's where the pain is. And those are easily fixed. No surgery.
Well, what they're replacing is the tendon allegedly inside the knee.
Yeah, but how do you get to it? I mean, I'm asking a very scientific question. How do you get to it? How do you injure something that is inaccessible? That's the question. If somebody could show it to me, I'd be glad to look at it. I have an open mind on anything.
So in other words, all these years that people say he has an ACL injury that's going to take according to what I've read, 6 to 9 months before they can get it back on the field. You could get it back on the field in
days. Absolute days.
Well, we had this conversation last week, and you know something. Somebody did send me a tape. I'm going to play it for you, and there is a machine that they use to do it allegedly. But my question is. Another NFLer went down with another ACL this week, and it's a year rehab, done for a year.
Yeah, they said 6 to 9 months, depending on how bad it is. Yeah,
done. The season's over.
That is the nuttiest thing I've seen, and in fact, I was watching this very guy.
Oh, okay.
On my
from the Buccaneers.
News.
Oh yeah, it happened. It happened.
Buccaneers.
I saw that.
It showed him falling in the middle of the field. There was nothing there.
Number 4 pick.
You cannot get hurt that way. Honest to God, I think there's something wrong with these people. And it's not the knee.
And you're talking about millions on the table, off the table now.
Right.
It's three rookies have been affected.
Well, the problem with that is, I mean, you know better than I do. If he doesn't come back after a year, he's not making the money that he was guaranteed. Is that correct?
No, he's guaranteed the money because the insurance policy is going to come pick up the difference. The problem is that the team loses money because that player that was drafted isn't going to be watched.
Right.
I'll tell you what the problem is with these people have problems with their knees anyway, and they're just missed. You have to examine the player from head to toe. You have to know what you have. I did this for myself. That's how I learned things. I do it because I'm in a position to do it. I had 2 big nursing homes, and I examined everybody that was hired. They had to pass my exam, which was kind of rigid. You'd be surprised how many people were not able to do that job who applied for it.
Really? Oh.
And I would tell them, you can't do that job. You're already hurting. And they would say, please, I need the job. So I'd give it to them anyway. They wouldn't complain. So, they did the work. But in order to really evaluate a player, especially when you're spending this kind of money, you ought to have a really good exam. And that's not to be done by just anybody. And the trainers should not be doing it.
Right.
Trainers are treaters, not diagnosticians. So right off the bat. And so anyway, that's how I feel about it. I mean, if somebody,
Well, I got a question for you now.
Yeah, go ahead.
If I'm the owner of an NFL team and I draft less, I want to draft less, and he comes in to see you, from head to toe, you're going to do an exam that's going to show me areas that could get complicated if he plays.
That's right.
Wow.
That's amazing.
So you already know in advance whether you want to put up with that or not, or we can fix it. So that's the idea. The idea is not to cash somebody out, but to fix it so they don't get hurt. Protect the investment. That's what you need to do.
So a sports agent who's bringing a new player to manage should have him see Dr. Pannozzo to make sure that, I mean, if I'm understanding this right, make sure that he could diagnose what's going to happen by the diagnosis.
What can happen?
Yeah,
what can happen?
Yeah, right. So
you could diagnose a weak spot in that player.
Wow.
So, and then you could fix it.
That's
so
amazing.
It doesn't bother
The
you.
owners are the ones that should be calling Dr. Pannozzo. Curly was drafted number 10 by the Rams, right? You know he has an ACL alleged tear. So they're not going to let him, not going to rush him back. He's going to miss 6 or 7 games.
Right.
Because they want him to come back slowly.
Yeah, 6 to 9 months, they say.
But because he had the operation in November, so you figure November to November.
Yeah.
I don't know why they have to rush to operate these people. I mean, I just don't get it.
Well, they rushed to operate him because they didn't want his number to drop in the draft.
Well, I know, but there's they can treat the outside of that knee, which is where the pain is, not inside.
Well,
and there's no pain fibers inside the knee. You understand this?
Yeah.
Yes.
None.
But he has the operation, Doc. So the only thing, what I would do is I would bring him to see you.
Now he's got a lot of pain outside.
He has a lot of pain. That's why they're not rushing him back. But I would bring him to see you to cure the area, so that then Curly can begin to work out and maybe get on the field in Game 3.
Yeah.
Now, what they told me was stability of the knee, which I think you and I spoke about last week. That's the main concern. Is the knee going to be stable if we rush him back?
The knee stability does not come from the ACL. All it does is hold those femur and the tibia together. You have the same thing in the hip. There is one ligament that holds that hip bone in. The cup holds it in. You can't hurt that. And you can't get to the ACL either. It's impossible to get to it because it's surrounded by connective tissue, ligaments. The stability of the knee comes from patella and the medial flexor and the lateral flexor of the knee. There's 3 tendons that control the motion of the knee. And actually the foot, because when the knee works, the foot works. Okay. The rest of it is connective tissue. It's the same thing that holds the shoulder together, the hip together. It's connective tissue. It gets injured and is inflammatory in nature and is painful because it's a bone-to-bone connector. Okay, so that's the whole thing right there. That's the physiology of it. So how do you get through that to get to the ACL? You can't do it. There's no way to get to it. You'd have to fillet the knee off like that in order to get to it.
Well, what I'm saying is that he had the surgery, so the inflammation he has in there now
It's on the outside.
It's on the outside, but it's part of the surgery.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's assume that you see him and you remove the inflammation.
Right.
Let's assume that you remove, can we say 90% of the inflammation?
Yes.
Okay. After the inflammation is removed, he's no longer feeling pain.
Right.
But the stability that they're talking about is a running back in the NFL has to turn in a certain degree, left and right, front and center. Is that knee, after you remove the inflammation, going to be able to hold up?
No, it's the outside. It's the outside ligament structure that controls that.
Yes, but is it going to be able to take that duress?
Yeah, you can do it, yeah.
And I'm going to
If
tell
it's
you,
treated.
ladies and gentlemen, that's $1 million question right there.
But sitting on the bench with a trainer, putting you in an ice bath is not going to do it.
Correct. Or riding a bicycle.
You have to know how to do it.
Yeah.
First of all, you have to know the mechanism of the injury in the first place. How did it happen?
Cause and effect.
Could cause and effect. Could be the hip affecting that.
I understand.
Could have a contracture there. That's still there, by the way.
My assumption is that we find the cause and effect, all of it. I'm giving 90% cured. And this is a player, and he's ready to go on the field. The question that I was asked, if he plays under those conditions, is he going to be to hold the weight of that?
If I treated him, he would stay in there. I can't tell you anything else about it. I don't only speak for myself. I don't.
I mean,
I feel like calling every NFL team right now. Are you kidding me?
I mean, a lot of people out there are saying, can't happen.
You know,
impossible.
I know, exactly.
They think the surgeon's some kind of God Almighty. He's not. They do certain techniques, and that's all they do. They don't do diagnostic work necessarily.
And they're good at, and they're good at their surgery. That's what they've studied.
Yeah, they're studying. They do a good job on. But I'm talking about why is it necessary?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's.
And no player comes back. No two players come back from the same injury the same.
No, they still have all that scar tissue. You have to know how to do that. That's a musculoskeletal specialty of which I'm the proponent of it. So
I mean,
we know how to do
that's amazing.
Things like that.
Call Jeff. Call an agent. Call somebody.
You know what? There's an old saying: do one thing right. And
somebody's worried about the steroid. Well, the steroids only last 9 hours.
Yeah,
you can't even test for that. In fact, there is no test for that you'd want to do. We don't do anything that's abnormal.
No,
we do basic science, medical science, and that's all. You can follow it. If you know the anatomy, you know the physiology, you can follow what I do just like that.
There are over 82,000 people that will swear by you, not at you. We'll swear by you.
And we looked up the medicine, Doc. We looked it up on the NFL not allowed list. It's not there.
No.
Yeah, right.
And we're willing to send it to the NFL. They can look at it. I don't care what they want to do.
I don't care what they want to do. They can send somebody to watch the process.
Yeah, we don't care.
You're not going to duplicate the thinking. So I don't care if you watch it. That's fine with me.
So if anybody who knows somebody who is a NFL player, well, we've had a couple of former NFL players, and I can even mention his name because he called up and said it, Troy Stratford.
Yeah,
that's right.
And he swears by it. In fact, he called up one day, and you look at Troy now, he's walking around, he's moving, and he's one of my favorite people in the world.
It's a shame. He lost a good career because of that.
And he's one of the nicest people you'd ever want to meet.
Yes, he's a very nice guy. And he took care of it in one day.
Yeah.
He said, wow, I retired because of this pain.
Well, you had somebody that had to retire who said if he would have known you, I don't know if I want to mention his name because I didn't get permission to, that he said he would have bought you a Lamborghini.
No, there's Ferrari.
Ferrari, okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
Ferrari.
You see? Wow.
He said one more year in the NFL was a $13 million payout. One more year. And if he'd come to me, he'd have made it.
How'd he come in and see you? He told me the story because I called him up. And he told me the story.
I don't know how he got my name or anything, but he was carried in by two people.
Yeah, he was telling me the story.
He couldn't stand up, and he walked out on his own. On his own merits because I took that pain away, and I took it away very, very quickly.
He told me
very quickly, and it's true. All this is true, folks. I mean, we don't say anything that's not true.
You know,
I mean, why get myself in trouble? I learned a long time ago. You always stick to what's verifiable, what's true.
You know, if you tell the truth, you'll never make a mistake because a lot of people can't remember lies. So if you just tell the truth, then and we have documented proof. Nothing that we do isn't documented, thanks to you.
Well, the bottom line here, Doc, if you have a pull, what they typically call or pinch this or pull hamstring, and then you come to realize that all of this stuff isn't true. It's hard to believe that. I mean, I grew up around sports. For 40 years, I coached, I had kids, I had injuries, and to find out that maybe what I was told isn't true.
Well, it's terminology that's used.
Correct.
And it's not used correctly. When they talk about a pinched nerve, they're just pulling that out of the air. That's not.
Can mean anything. ACLs and this and that.
Any pain in the leg, they call that a pinched nerve. But there's a lot of reasons for having that. I mean, so it's terminology mainly, and but a good physician, and I try to be the best there is. We stick to facts. We stick to terms that mean something. Now, for instance, pinched nerve should be called a sprain, because that's actually what it is.
And that's right.
The other question is, where is that sprain?
Where's it coming from?
How do you do it? How do you fix it?
Well, I'm going to tell you, I don't care. David Wright, my favorite player on the New York Mets, again, is hurt because he had a hamstring pull, and the shoulder. And this has been going on for 3 years, Doc.
Freddie, excuse me, what you just said. They said football players. That's one of the three most injured things is a hamstring.
Of course, because of the way your body works.
But it's not really the hamstring.
But this is my point.
See, that's a referred pain.
That's right. And they keep doping them up, sending them back on the field.
Yeah,
doesn't
and
heal.
it's easily fixed. I mean, I fix those things in a matter of 10 minutes. I mean, truly,
Doc, you know,
I'm not kidding.
Hammies take 6 weeks to heal.
No, they do not.
But this is what I'm saying. Everybody out there that's listening right now.
Here's the thing: if it's truly a what'd you call it? A hammy?
Hammy, they call it.
Call it a hammy.
Hamstring strain, they call it a hammy.
That's what they call it.
The medical term is a hammy.
It really should mean muscle pulled out of the bone. That's what it should mean. And if that's true, you can find that. And then you put a shot in it, and it leaves like that. Now, if it's a referred pain from the lower back, then you have to do a couple other things before you can take it away, and then it's L5S1. I mean,
Doc's just blowing me away.
Well, I mean, we've seen it.
You know how many hamstring pulls I've had, Doc?
Well, there's hardly any specialists that deal with this.
It's rest.
They're orthopedic surgeons, they're trainers, they're physical therapists, they're chiropractors, none of which do this kind of work. See, this is a specialty. This is a special work, and I'm practically the only one that does it around here. I don't know.
So no surgery, no drugs, and no therapy.
That's what they gave me, Doc. They gave me a muscle relaxer, which I kind of liked. They gave me that, and they gave me rest for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
That's how they cured my hammies.
Wow.
Yeah, well, we don't prescribe anything because it's useless. If you know where the problem is from, why don't you just do it? Take care of it. You
Well, I didn't know you.
prescribe anything.
No, and then it came back.
Not you, but I get asked that question. How come you don't prescribe? I said, why should I?
You don't
I
need
know
to.
where the problem is.
Wow, I'm blown away, man.
Well, we've had people walk out of his office because they wanted they wanted drugs.
They do.
I know.
You must have been reading my thought because people get the paperwork, and then there's a little note on my window where you talk to the secretary. I'm the secretary. It says, we do not prescribe anything for pain, including narcotics or any other drug.
Right.
And people,
they leave.
Take a hike.
Really?
561-381-5800 if you want to make an appointment. Don't be surprised if Dr. Pannozzo answers the phone.
I do.
561-381-5800 when we're off the air. At 12, you can give him a call. Around 12:30, because him and I talk in the car on the way back. You've already answered 3 questions without me even asking. Talking to you about it, so let me give you another one. Rick from Tweeter writes, I've seen your video on migraine headaches. I want to know how long your procedure lasts, and have you had anyone come back with the headache again?
No. It's a cure, and it's 100% cure.
So, one of the things that the new big thing about people are going is Botox. And I asked one of my friends who happens to be a dermatologist, what do you think about headaches for Botox? He said, doesn't work.
You got to keep coming back and back, right?
He said Botox was designed to do one thing, pop up the head to get rid of the wrinkles. And he said, you know what it is? It's snake venom.
But how is it that Botox stops it from hurting?
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
So when they walk out of there, they're still in pain?
Yeah, they're still in pain, and the pain comes from ligament tissue, not muscle. So Botox is treating muscle, not ligament. So that's it.
Wow.
See, that's medical science. When you're dealing with people who don't guarantee their result,
and that's a lot of money,
who don't know what they're talking about.
I went to one.
And hey, my colleagues do that. I try not to, and I don't. I'd rather just tell you to go away and go somewhere else.
Which you've done before.
Well, I've done that.
Now, Doc, if I had the Botox treatment done and I'm still having migraine and I come see you, can you still help me?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I mean, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the kid that was in with his mother, I think he had Botox, and it didn't work.
Yeah, people are trying. They try anything. They try acupuncture, which
acupuncture doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
And those things in the feet, those needles in the feet to get rid of your headache.
Magnets.
Chinese medicine.
We passed the magnet stage. I mean, like 5 years ago, everybody was using a magnet. Magnet in their mattress, for crying out loud.
They did a thing on TV, which I was watching, where they want to prove that magnets don't work, and this is something that the mind is so unbelievable. And they said they had a guy dressed up in a doctor's thing with a stethoscope, and he went and he touches it. It says, okay, I want you to go shopping, and I want to put this around your neck to get rid of your neck pain, and it's a magnet. Well, they showed what it was a cardboard magnet. It was just cardboard. And she said, oh, yeah, I feel so much better now.
Placebo.
So, yeah, a placebo effect, right. And, mind over matter. I mean, and then I'm imagining when she goes home the next night, and he's not there anymore, we know it wear it off. Why not, to me...
Well, people have to... The reason for this, we're doing this program...
is so people understand they have options.
Is because you have to have knowledge before you can treat things. Mm-hmm. And you better know your anatomy. I'm talking about the patient.
Yes.
If you have a sore neck or a headache, you better read up on it so you don't get screwed. Screwed, that's
a good word. You're right.
That's a good word.
Good.
Screwdriver.
Right. By what's
so you don't get screwdriver.
I mean, if you have a headache... people don't know where they're from. You're going to go acupuncture, you're going to go chiropractic, you're going to go physical therapy, you're going to go all the things that are not going to treat this because a diagnosis of the source is not made. So the more you know, the more it's going to help you when you come to my office because I'm going to speak to you in terms that mean something. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to get a target that's causing this, and I'm going to show it to you. And I'm going to put my thumb in it, and you're going to say, wow, that really hurts. So I said, yeah, well, that's where all your pain's
That's what you did to me.
That's what I did.
Well, you know what's funny?
So you have to understand that what the procedure is. So when you're in my office, this is what you get. Mm-hmm. You get a source, and then I'm going to tell you, now here's your source, this is what I can do for it, and I'll give you 100% cure. And if you say no, that's it. If you say yes, you get it.
So let me ask you a question. You guarantee a migraine, you'll cure it?
Yes.
Okay.
In 2 minutes.
So Excedrin PM says we'll get rid of your pain, but they don't cure the symptom. It's going to come back.
They can't, and that's probably the worst drug you can use.
Really?
Aspirin's your better drug.
Yeah.
We could put Dr. Pannozzo's name on a bottle.
Yes.
Empty bottle. An empty bottle with a phone number. Call this number, and you never get pain again.
That's very funny.
I could put Dr. Pannozzo's aspirin. I mean, I have somebody make it.
I wouldn't even put a pill in it. I leave it empty so that people, when they see it's empty, they're going to say, I got ripped off. Oh, wait a minute. I got to call this number.
I've seen people with really bad migraines, and they go into their bathroom, and they close the door, and they sit by the toilet.
In the dark.
Yeah,
and that's pain.
Yeah, a true migraine, you can't even get to it with your finger. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you try to, it's very hard to find. You have to know where to look, and that's why they're having all this trouble. But going in a dark room and all that vomiting and all that's a lot of baloney, and that doesn't happen very much.
Vomiting, you say?
Here's all I'm saying. We're getting down to the wire.
Any pain will do that to you.
But you know what? If you're suffering from migraine headache, you don't believe what we're saying, come in to see Dr. Pannozzo. Let him show you where the pain is. Let him give you the shot to get rid of the pain. And you know what? You know how much your life will improve? But, I mean, that's got to be the worst feeling in the world to have those migraines.
Hey, listen, if you're an athlete and you're working out 10 months a year, if you're an athlete, 10 months a year you work out. And I know that you're in constant pain, guys. In the weight room, you feel this, you feel that, tight here, tight there. Give the doc a call.
Got nothing to lose?
I'm talking to you as a coach. Give the doc a call, because the worst thing that can happen is you can go back to your juicing, you can go back to your aspirin, but you give the man a call and you prevent future injury.
There's a lot of peer pressure on these teams.
That's right.
Too.
That's all it is.
They're presented by this to the surgeon as the expert, like that Andrews guy, Dr. Andrews. He's a very good orthopedic surgeon. But you see all these athletes going over there to get
He's God.
their knees.
Yeah.
But
He's
the guy,
God.
he doesn't have any more techniques than anybody else does. I mean, he's good, and I'm not saying nothing against him, but there are other ways to look at it. The
That's
physiology of pain production. This is what is in my book. If you learn where the pain is, then you learn what happens to the body to produce that pain. And that gives you location, gives you how you have to treat it, gives you the physiology of it. So all of those things mean something, not just getting operated, taking your knee off, or doing an ACL or anything else.
Ending careers, Doc. Those operations end careers.
Well, everything I've read, and I do a lot of research, as you both know.
You mean you read?
Yeah, I do. I have books on tape.
They talk to him.
And what I've learned is, you know what? Surgery should be your last resort.
It should be.
I mean, and I've heard there was someone that called you not too long ago, and you told him that you couldn't help him. You explained the situation that he had, and you were very honest and said, I really can't help you with that. I can't remember what it was, but if you can't help someone, you're going to tell them.
Yeah, it's to my advantage to tell you,
because
so you don't expect too much.
No, but to me,
look, I've got to make room for new patients that need our help, and we have more new ones than we have treatments.
Yeah,
I mean. The other day we had people in there, 8 of them were new.
Yeah.
But Doc, I'm amazed. Today you took me to school. Hamstring pulls. Yeah. That's amazing, man. You have no idea in the sport world how many guys
and
have to play through it.
You coach for a professional team also.
Yeah, I did. Absolutely. I am.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. I mean, that is tremendous. And if you're not calling the doc, if you're in the pro level, minor league level, and you're not calling this doctor, you're just cheating yourself.
Yeah, look at these kids that are going through high school football, and then they go. I mean, it's just they ought to have a good exam before they go into sports like that.
So now we're going to continue this next week because if Colleen's holding up those little things, and the music is going to start soon. Call Dr. Pannozzo anytime you want. Call him after the show. Call him tomorrow morning. It's 561.
I wanted some calls today. We didn't get them.
And you know what? We give out the information. It's up to them to do. 561-381-5800. And folks, let me just say one thing. Come down and on a Monday or a Tuesday and just sit in the office just sit there and listen and ask people, how long have you been here? I did that before I met you. I sat in the office, Freddie and I, and we.
Yeah, you made me go in first.
Yeah, I made him go in first for shots. And
16244 South Military Trail, number 740 in Delray Beach, right in front of where, Doc? Walmart.
Right across the street.
So you know what's going to happen? You're going to go to Dr. Pannozzo, and then you'll be able to walk down the aisles without a cart. Thank you so much again for listening to us.
Good,
Colleen, thank you so much. Freddie, as always, thank you so much. And Dr. Pannozzo, thank you so much. 561-381-5800. Have a great Sunday and enjoy yourself.
We'll do that.
This has been the Dr. Pannozzo Sports and Medicine Hour with Dr. Anthony Pannozzo. If you spend 5 minutes with Dr. Pannozzo, you'll see he genuinely enjoys helping others. Visit Dr. Pannozzo online at www.paincentersnationwide.com or call him at 561-381-5800. Dr. Pannozzo will consult with you to determine the best solution to your pain needs. 561-381-5800 is the number to call, even if it's just for a second opinion. Join Dr. Pannozzo next week when he brings you more important information on the physics of weight-bearing and engineer concepts for the body.
News, traffic, weather, every 10 minutes from